Here is a bulletin from CBS News. In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
Hi, and welcome to Today in History. I'm your host, Ashley Renfro, and this is the star of the show, Mr. Lavin.
Hi.
Today's a very special day. It's the 50th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. As we all know, Mr. Lavin is a very big fan of JFK, and so we're going to hear the accounts of what happened on that day.
Well, for me, it was just another ordinary day. I was a senior in high school down the street from here at Griffin High School. And for 2 days, the juniors and seniors had not had regular classes. We had what were called career days. And so we would go to the gym and listen to different professional men talk about careers in law and medicine and accounting. But the other classes, the freshmen and sophomores had their regular classes, so we had to use like the regular lunch schedule. So I remember it was raining that day. It was just a kind of a nasty November day with rain. And we were up in what was ordinarily our journalism classroom waiting for the freshmen and sophomores to finish lunch so we could go back to the gym for the afternoon session. So we had a workroom. The newspaper workroom was attached to the classroom, and some student came in and walked behind me and sort of said to the class, "Kennedy's been shot," or "the president's been shot." And somebody said, "Well, what's the joke? What do you mean, shot? His picture taken? No, he's been shot." Well, this kid was sort of he had a sense of humor, so people didn't really believe him. It just seemed strange. So a few minutes later, another student came up into the room and said the same thing. And so our journalism teacher, Mr. Wilcoxon, decided he would go down to the office and find out. So he was gone for a few minutes, and I remember when he came back in the room, all you had to do was look at his face and know that it was something serious. And he announced to us that the president had been shot, taken to a hospital, and they didn't know how serious he was. So we went back down to the gym for the afternoon sessions, and some students in those days, they had these little small transistor radios that they could put in their shirt pockets, kind of like students did with their cell phones. And one of the students in the gym had his radio on, kind of while we're listening to the presentations, and I think he heard the rumor that the president had died. And so it started buzzing all over the floor in the gymnasium. And I can't remember at what point the principal of the school came into the gym, went up on the stage at the Bell's Gymnasium, and announced that the president had died. And this was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, our time, and they were going to dismiss school like an hour early. So I kind of remember we went home, and that was the first I knew about the president being shot. And everybody was just sort of stunned by it. It seemed like it was unreal, surreal.
So were you a fan of JFK even at that age?
I was. And I think some students know that my freshman year in high school, I waited almost 3 hours one night walking home from school. I was supposed to get home about 6. I waited until about 8:30, quarter to 9 to see him come by 5th and North Grand when he was here campaigning for president.
That must have been very exciting.
It was exciting, yes.
Do you remember the reactions to other people compared to yours?
I really don't. No, I kind of, I've asked some of my former classmates, and their recollections are similar to mine. I think, I don't know, it was important to me. They say you remember things that are really important to you, so I do.
When was JFK's murderer charged?
Well, I think he was first charged, Friday night. He was first charged sometime Friday night in the murder of a Dallas police officer. And then I think a couple hours after that, let's say around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday, the next day, he was taken before a judge and charged with the murder of the president.
And wasn't Oswald killed only a few days later?
Yeah, about 36 hours later. In fact, I first heard about that. We always had high school basketball practice on Sunday mornings, never on Saturday. So our practices would usually start about 10. So again at the Griffin Gym. And one of our managers, one of our high school classmates, had gone over to the priest's house, which was over west of the building, for something, and came back into the gym and sort of announced to everybody, Oswald has just been shot, and it was on TV. I don't remember him mentioning the name of Oswald's murderer, Jack Ruby. I just sort of remember, again, it seems like one more unreal event, of that weekend.
And what was your reaction after hearing that he'd been shot?
Oh, again, I was probably still thinking primarily of the basketball game that was like 5 days away. Yeah, it just sort of stunned me. But I didn't give it a whole lot of, I don't think a whole lot of thought.
So we all know that you have your own theories about what happened to JFK and his assassination. But could you give your U.S. history students a clue as to one of your theories?
Well, it's not so much a theory as it just is a line of research. Several years after the assassination, the district attorney in New Orleans charged a very prominent businessman named Clay Shaw with conspiracy to assassinate the president. The DA was Jim Garrison. He didn't have really a very good case. And in March 1969, a jury found Clay Shaw innocent of any conspiracy. Historically, it's the only trial of anyone ever actually charged being involved in the assassination. But there was one aspect of the Clay Shaw case that Jim Garrison really didn't pursue too much, if at all, and it had to do with a bullfight that was floated around as an idea in New Orleans.
Well, okay, then there's your clue. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time for more historical events with Mr. Lavin. See ya.
See ya. Happy Thanksgiving.